Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chris Maloney back with you for another edition. CWN Predicts Impact Wrestling 2021 taking place. What did I say? Impact Wrestling 2021. Impact Wrestling Under Siege 2021 taking place live, well, somewhat live tonight on Fight as well as Impact Plus at 8 o'clock p.m. tonight. I just got done doing my other podcast, CWN Weekly. I thought I had enough of a break in between. I was going to go live, but I was like, no, you know what? I'll do the premiere because that's what I've been doing lately anyways. But long story short, yes, it is CWN Predicts, the first of two this coming weekend. Tomorrow, obviously, WWE WrestleMania Backlash, but we are here right now. I am here right now to talk about Impact Wrestling Under Siege 2021 show taking place tonight. I believe this was taped in advance, recorded in advance. I know the last one that was on Impact Plus was because as one of the matches was taking place, one of the participants in the ring was actually tweeting. So that's how I know for sure. But anyways, like I said, Impact Wrestling Under Siege 2021 tonight, 8 o'clock p.m. on Fight as well as Impact Plus, $9.99 on Fight. I believe Impact Plus still has the free 30-day deal. Sign up with a new email address as well as a credit card and get 30 days of Impact Plus for free. But regardless, $9.99. It's top to bottom a heck of an event. Match of the night, I'm going to call it when I get to it. And it's going to be hard to take it away, as a biased Canadian, so to speak. But like I said, tonight, Skyway Studios, Nashville, Tennessee. And if you're watching the premiere on YouTube, Facebook right now, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Hit the like, subscribe button, and all that sort of jazz. And if you're listening on audio, such as Apple Podcast, hit the like button or whatever you do over there. So anyways, I'll leave it at that. Or Spotify. I love Spotify as well. But 9 big matches taking place tonight. I'm going to run them down. I'm going to give my thoughts as well as predict, and let's see how well I do. I feel like it's been a while since I did a prediction show. But anyways, let's get to it. Match number 1 of the night, Willie Mack taking on W. Morrissey. Battle of the big boys here. It's interesting to see W. Morrissey. First of all, his name is unique. I never would have thought of him coming in with W. Morrissey as his name, but obviously it is. Willie Mack is one of those guys that should not be able to move the way he does for the size that he is. So it's, like I said, 2 big boys going at it here right now. But the fact is, W. Morrissey is going to be a strong heel. All the way through to one of the championships, I'm going to say. Obviously, I don't think he's going to ever be X Division champion, but I'm going to say they're going to push him through to the World Championship probably by summertime. And when I say summer, I'm going to talk like probably late summer, August, September. But in saying that, there's no way in the world Willie Mack is winning this one. W. Morrissey has just been too strong, too powerful. He's in great shape right now. And that roller coaster, but that monster's heel push is going to continue here tonight. So I'm going to say W. Morrissey for the win here. And guys, as I always do, match order is not necessarily in order. I always do it as level of importance should be as far as the event itself goes. So obviously, the singles world championships will be at the end. And, everything I feel is important number 1 through 9, so to speak. But that's the way I do things. So never take into account my match predictions in order. All right. Match number 2 of the night, Black Taurus with Decay in his corner, taking on Brian Myers. This is interesting because what I just said about the last match with regards to W. Morrissey and his push, Brian Myers has been strong as a heel, obviously. I never would have predicted him being this way in Impact Wrestling, but then you've got Black Taurus, and the fact is, he's got the potential to be a huge star as well. The difference is Brian Myers on his own, Black Taurus with regards to the stable with Decay there. No one who's in the main event and knowing the way it could play out. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Brian Myers for the win. I'm going to say they push him strong. I'm going to say that eventually we see him go for the World Championship. Potentially against somebody who's in the main event, but I'll get to that when I get to the main event there. But I'm going to say Brian Myers for the win in this one. Match number 3, Taylor Wilde, Tennille Dashwood with Caleb with a K, taking on Kimberly and Susan. I know how the promos have gone with regards to Impact Wrestling. Taylor Wilde, Tennille Dashwood. Tennille wants to be partners, but she's all about me. So you can never really trust her words. Taylor Wilde is back for one reason only. and that is to challenge Deonna Purrazzo for the Impact Knockouts Championship. Tennille Dashwood has other plans for Taylor Wilde. And being biased Canadian, obviously, I'm going to create a hashtag biased Canadian, maybe a t-shirt as well. But Taylor Wilde, it's going to be strong. They may end up winning the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. Obviously not tonight, but I'm liking the partnership. I'm liking the promos between Tennille as well as Taylor Wilde. If you watched Impact this past Thursday, you would have saw Tennille getting interviewed by Taylor Wilde in that segment that Tennille does, where basically she sets herself up as a guest, and whoever walks into the room is the one who's going to be interviewing her. But I'm liking the chemistry. I'm liking the mix between the two of them. So Taylor Wilde to Tennille Dashwood, for the win in this tag team match against Kimberly and Susan. Match number 4 of the night, 4-team number 1 contenders match, and this features Petey Williams and TJP. And this is interesting because when they were doing that segment on Impact with regards to Johnny Swinger's, I forget the name of it, his casino thing there, and all of a sudden all the partners are coming in. I was expecting Falaba to be with TJP, but no, TJP was sitting there, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, Petey Williams walks in, and then the next thing you know, Petey Williams turns into little Big Papa Pump, and TJP makes reference to that, and it was interesting segment there, but it sets up the tag teams in the match here tonight. So Petey Williams tagging with TJP, taking on Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, taking on Rohit Raju, as well as Shira, taking on Triple XL, which is AC Romero and Larry D. Petey Williams, TJP would be great, but they are singles competitors, and I'm not a big fan of singles competitors going into a tag team unless it necessarily obviously makes sense. This, to me, as much as I love TJP, as much as I love Petey Williams, no, forget about it. So who in this match deserves it? Rohit Raju, Shira, I could see being the heel team. But when you look at the tag team champions right now, they are Finjuice. Who do you put up against Finjuice that might actually go and be competitive? Obviously, Good Brothers in that mix as well, but I'm going to say Ace Austin, Man Fulton. So I'm going to say match number 4, 4-team number 1 contenders match. Ace Austin, Madman Fulton walkout is the number 1 contenders there. Like I said, love Petey Williams, love TJP, but the fact is Ace Austin, Madman Fulton in that tag team title mix, I think would be cool. Match number 5 in the night, we get to the middle of the card. Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship match. Jordan Grace, Rachel Ellering taking on Fire and Flava. Kira Hogan and Tasha Steelz. Jordan and Rachel looked way too strong, way too dominant. They look good as champs. Fire and Flavor held it for a long time. They made those championships look legitimate. They were strong champions, getting away with certain wins that you never would have expected them to, especially Jordan Grace and Jazz. But now you get Jordan Grace, Rachel Ellering, like I said, just way too powerful, and they are strong looking champions. And it reminds me kind of like Strike Force and Demolition. Demolition being Jordan Grace, Rachel Ellering, Strike Force being Fire and Flava. Obviously, I know faces heels a little bit different here, but the fact is, I think Jordan Grace, Rachel Ellering, just way too strong for Fire and Flava right now, anyways. And I wouldn't mind seeing Kira and Tasha, go singles run. Kira, especially as well, big fan of hers. But Jordan Grace, Rachel Ellering, to retain tonight. Match number 6, Impact X Division Championship match. And the other thing is too, you have a heel Tennille Dashwood and a babyface kind of tweener in Taylor Wilde, who may be set up against Jordan Grace, Rachel Ellering. That would be a cool match right there as well. Anyways, match number 6, which I'm calling match of the night right now. I'm a huge fan after watching Impact this past Thursday of this match. Yeah, I'm using hand gestures. I'm all over the place right now. But Impact X Division Championship match, the one and only walking weapon, Canadian boy Josh Alexander as champion, taking on ELP El Phantasmo. And, I'm excited right now for it. And we are still a matter of hours away. But this, to me, potentially could be match of the night. You've got the strong, gifted athlete and Josh Alexander taking on the cocky, arrogant heel member of the Bullet Club, ELP El Phantasmo. But the moveset of Phantasmo versus the agility of Josh Alexander, man, it's this could be match of the year. I tell you this, I'm excited for it. This is my match of the night. I'm predicting it now. It's going to be hard to take this away any of the other matches tonight, but it's when you're watching the recap show for Impact Wrestling Under Siege, you could potentially see this being the match of the night easily for me. I'm a big fan of both of these guys. I'm a big fan of this match, big fan of the championship being on the line. Walking Weapon taking on El Phantasmo ELP. Obviously, Kenny Omega, world champ. You've got Finn Juice, tag team champions. So they give it to ELP. If you were facing somebody else, maybe. But it's the Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander. You don't put the title on a guy who was record holder with Ethan Page as far as the Impact World Tag Team Championships go for the amount of days consecutively, I think as champions for Impact Wrestling in the history of Impact Wrestling. I don't know if it's TNA as well, but the history of Impact Wrestling, they owned it. And now you got one half of these guys as X Division champion doing a singles run. And being an Ontario boy, Canadian independent wrestling, obviously, I know the capabilities on his own with regards to Josh Alexander. I know TV played him up as a tag team guy, but forget about it. As much as I love ELP and the Bullet Club, fact is Josh Alexander retains, and it's going to be one hell of a match. And like I said, it's probably going to be a match of the night come the recap show. But Josh Alexander officially to retain. Match number 7 of the night, Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship match. Deonna Purrazzo taking on Havoc. Havoc, I didn't realize until I'm watching one of the clips the other night that she was Impact Knockouts champion, defeating Gail Kim. I didn't realize that. Havoc is a beast, and not only that, she is just very stubborn in the ring. She mindset-wise, probably close to, I want to say Bam Bam, just with her mentality. There's not a lot that's going to stop her from achieving whatever she wants to achieve. But then you got Deonna Purrazzo, and in saying what I just said, Purrazzo is sneaky. She's gifted as an athlete, and the fact is, I think the title looks great on the Virtuosa. So, do you put the title on Havoc? No, I don't think so. Not yet. Not with the women's division being the way it is. Not with certain members at AEW. That forbidden door being kicked open. The way that plays out, the challenges that have been made, so to speak, with regards to Deonna Purrazzo. So she's a strong champion, and I'm loving the gimmick. I love the fact Havoc's going up against her. I think it's going to be one hell of a match, but I'm going to say the Virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo, to retain in this one without the help of Kimber or Susan. I'm going to say that there. I'm going to say it's a good, clean, strong showing for Deonna Purrazzo. Match number 8, semi-main event, so to speak, 6-man tag team match. We got Eddie Edwards and the tag team champions Finn Juice, which is David Finlay and Juice Robinson, taking on the one and only Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, which is Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, obviously with Don Callis in their corner. This is going to be a heated battle. I don't care what you have to say about it, because the fact is, to me, what happened on Impact Wrestling this past Thursday was very tame. Obviously Eddie Edwards being out there with a kendo stick, but with this one, they could have made it into basically a no DQ, no rules match. But maybe down the line, but the toughness of Eddie Edwards, as well as the dominance, so to speak, of Finn Juice lately versus Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. But then you got Omega. You don't have Omega take the fall. Omega is not going to lose this match. I tell you that much there. So what do? Do you have the Good Brothers take one of the falls? Do you have Eddie Edwards look strong in this one? Eddie Edwards is not part of that 6-way number 1 contenders match in the main event, though. So how do you play it out? I'm going to say, and I hate saying this, I'm going to say Kenny Omega defeats Eddie Edwards in this match here. I'm going to say you leave the tag teams out of it at this point. The other option would be to have one of the Good Brothers pin Finn Juice, but I'm going to say with Omega in the match, I'm going to say Omega, because there's no real history with Omega and Finlay and Juice Robinson other than New Japan Pro Wrestling, to my knowledge anyways. But you got triple champion there. Your quadruple champion would include AAA. I'm going to say Omega looks strong, especially going into AEW pay-per-view at the end of the month here, and Slammiversary coming up as well, and the main event being what it is. So I'm going to say Omega pins Eddie Edwards to pick up the victory in the 6-man tag team match tonight. So that's a tough call, obviously, but I'm going to say Omega looks strong and he beats Eddie Edwards. Main event time, guys. 6-way number 1 contenders match, set up through matches on Impact Wrestling the past couple weeks, obviously. Chris Bay, Matt Cardona, Sami Callihan, Chris Sabin, Trey Miguel, and Moose. So interesting to see Trey Miguel, Sami Callihan in the same match. Interesting to see Chris Sabin in this match, which is kind of cool. And then you've got, who am I forgetting here? Moose, who just lost the title, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship to Rich Swann recently, as well as Matt Cardona. So when I was talking about Brian Myers earlier, there's an easy setup right there between Brian Myers and Matt Cardona, potentially for a future Impact World Championship run, especially consider the fact that Cardona's ties to AEW and Cody. So that'll be interesting there if they go with that route. Sami Callihan, been there, done that. You've got Trey Miguel. I don't think he's ready for it yet, but how cool would that be if he picked up the win over Sami Callihan? Moose, been there, done that. So two of the guys in there had been there, done that. You also include Chris Sabin, which I don't think in 2021, a huge fan of Sabin, always will be. But I don't think 2021 you put him as being anybody relevant other than just basically, a legendary wrestler in this match there. So that leaves half the field. Do you give it to Cardona? Do you give it to Trey Miguel? Or do you give it to somebody I'm a huge fan of, and that's Chris Bay? It's interesting. It's if Trey wins, he pins Sammy. I don't think that's going to happen. Cardona, I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger on that. They could. And honest to God, if they set up Slammiversary Kenny Omega versus Cardona, I could easily see it. But I don't think Slammiversary. I can't see Chris Bay Omega as much as I'd love to see that match being it. So looking at this, unless you have Trey go over Omega at Slammiversary, which would be absolutely cool. But knowing the play, knowing the backstory, knowing the Forbidden Door being kicked open, I got to say this. I got to say Cardona takes this, and basically it's him as Impact, the Impact guy going up against Kenny Omega, knowing the relationship that he had with AEW, and especially too, if this Forbidden Door decides to shut temporarily, whatever the case may be. You've still got factor, you've still got historical aspect to it between Brian Myers as well as Cardona, feuding those two guys just in Impact Wrestling there. And then you got Chelsea Green, who knows where she's going to end up, you know what I mean? And that's that plays factor as well. But yeah, I got to say this. I got to say Cardona. I'm going to say Cardona gets the win. Not sure. I'm going to say maybe he pins Chris Bay. To make him look strong, but then you kind of make Chris Bay not, it's going to be interesting. Maybe he pins one of the legends in there. But I'm going to say officially, I can't predict who he's going to pin, but I'm going to say Cardona wins this one there. So rundown once again, guys. W. Morrissey for the win in the first one. I'm going to say Brian Myers for the win in match number 2. I'm going to say Taylor Wilde and Tenille Dashwood for the win in match number 3. 14 number 1 contenders match, Ace Austin, Madman Fulton to come out of that one as number 1 contenders. Match number 5, Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship match, Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering retain. Match number 6, Impact X Division Championship match of the night, I'm calling it right now. A Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander to retain as well. Match number 7, I get a lot of retainment here. Match number 7, Impact Knockouts Championship match, Deanna Purrazzo to retain. Match number 8, semi-main event. You've got 6-man tag team match. I'm going to say Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers get the win, and I'm going to say Kenny Omega pins Eddie Edwards in that one there. And the main event time, 6-way number 1 contenders match. I'm going to say, like I said, Matt Cardona. And to look at who's in this match, I'm going to say Cardona. I'm going to officially put it out there. I'm going to say Cardona pins Sami Callihan to become the number 1 contender. So I didn't see an elimination match. So I think they're all in there unless it's I don't think it's I think it's 6 men and the first one to the victory wins. Let me quickly check that. Actually, I'll see if I can keep talking. And Rizzo has made my cat, one of my 2 cats anyway, has made his second appearance of today doing shows. Anyways. I was saying on Weekly, he seems to have this, I don't know if it's the tone I use when I'm doing a podcast or what, but he seems to have this habit of coming. He doesn't eat 24/7, I'll tell you that, but he seems to have this habit of coming out when I'm doing a show. And the last show, you get another half-empty water bottle tossed his way, not at him, but tossed his way just to scare him off. But yeah, officially Impact Wrestling, it states... Yeah, it doesn't say anything about elimination match. It just says 6-way number 1 contenders match. So yeah, I got to say officially, I got to say it's going to be Matt Cardona pinning Sami Callihan in the main event there, guys. So yeah, that is it for CWN Predicts Impact Wrestling Under Siege 2021, taking place, like I said, tonight, 8:00 p.m. on Fight, as well as Impact Plus, $9.99 on Fight. as well as I do believe you can still get the 30-day free deal on Impact Plus there with regards to email address and credit card, and away you go for 30 days, which is absolutely cool, because there's another one coming up later in the month, which is... and I don't have it in front of me, but there is another pay-per-view coming up in the month of June for Impact Wrestling. So if you're there for 30 days, you might be able to tie into that one as well. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting show tonight. 9 big matches on hand, like I said, and match of the night, like I said, it's probably, to me anyways, personally, ELP taking on Josh Alexander. But feel free, the other 8 matches, if you're listening or watching, to change my mind on that. But I'm pretty sure when I do the recap show, that is going to be match of the night there. So the recap show will come out sometime tomorrow, and my next predicts is for WrestleMania Backlash 2021, which will come out premiering tomorrow as well. But guys, enjoy the show tonight, and if you're watching, I mean, it's tough. $9.99 for this is well worth it. I mean, I could pay 3 times the amount for sure, just to watch this one here, especially with the X Division Championship match, the Knockouts Championship match, the semi-main event, the main event, to see how it all plays out there for Impact Wrestling. But guys, enjoy the show tonight. Look for the recap show tomorrow. Look for the next edition of CWN Predicts tomorrow as well. But thank you very much for watching and listening as always, and we will talk again sometime soon. Enjoy the show.